Hello, thanks for being here today. I'm so excited that you decided to tune in to Talking Books with Tanisha. I'm Tanisha. Um, who am I? Have you had a chance to get a chance to know a little bit more about who I am and why I do this? If not, let me give you a little brief history. I'm an educator who has been in the education system for over 20 years. I'm a really huge book reader. Always loved books. My mom had books in the house. I'm in my bedroom since I was little, and I always was reading something, and I've continued that habit throughout my life. I also write young adult fiction, and so part of my energy of reading so much is I also get motivated to write stories too. And I like talking about books. I like to be a part of book studies. I like to read and then, have conversations with other people who find books interesting. Um, I do find that sometimes people have different layers in which they can talk about books. And I like to engage in all those layers. But sometimes it's hard to find a person that really, really gets into a book the way you do and really wants to kind of unpack it and talk about it. And so that's what Talking Books with Tanisha is about. It's not about doing spoilers, so you're not going to find any spoilers in the talks that I do. But it is about introducing new books or books you maybe already have read to like a bigger audience, an opportunity to kind of share some authors that I find are really interesting right now and trending. Not so much because they're popular, because their stories are really important. And then also just thinking about how do we continue putting books in the hands of ourselves as adults and our youth. And so creating positive opportunities for representation so kids can see themselves in books and learn about other people in books too. So all that to say, I hope you are liking the episodes that you're watching. I hope you have already subscribed to this channel and shared it with your friends and family members and other people in your life who like talking about books. I'm really, really excited about this book today. I have to say, so I just came back from Comic Con last week and they had a panel, and the panel was based on a book called Blackout, which came out last year. It's with six authors. They're all female, all femme identifying Black authors. Donnell Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Nicola Yoon, Angie Thomas, and Ashley Woodfolk. Kind of sure I got all six of them. And they wrote a book all together, and they had a panel at Comic-Con talking about that book. But what was really exciting is that like four of them were there, and Nicola Yoon was one of them that was there, and she's amazing. She's actually the author of the book we're going to talk about today called Instructions for Dancing. You know her because if you've seen Everything the movie, or you've seen the movie The Sun is Also a Star. Those are two books that were adapted by books that she wrote. So those are movies that were adapted. Sorry, books that were adapted into movies. Her book Everything and her book The Sun is Also a Star are both really amazing. I actually did a book talk about The Sun is Also a Star last year when I was doing my Facebook Lives, which I'm also going to start uploading into this channel so you have a chance to see the books I've already talked about before. Um, she's really, really good. And her new book, Instructions for Dancing, just came out, and I grabbed it. It was one of the books that when I was shopping for our Black book fair, is one of the books that I chose because I just really loved the cover of this. It's really beautiful. You can see the cover behind me and also in front of me. But it also like was kind of intriguing. Like they are doing some ballroom dancing, and they're brown and they look like amazing. And I know that ballroom dancing or all different kinds of like dancing lives within and thrives within cultures of color. And so I was really excited to read this book. And this is really different from, well, actually, if you've read any Nicola Yoon, you know that a lot of her stories involve, I would say, is always something kind of like at risk, high stakes. She's really good. She's really known for like high stakes and high tension and high energy and high emotion. And this is no different. Like Instructions for Dancing has a little bit of a magicalistic kind of like a magical realism kind of added to it, which is a little bit different for her. I feel like that wasn't always the case in the other books. And I forgot to mention I got a chance to meet her, and so did my daughter. And so it was really fun to talk to her about this book just for a quick second. And she was really excited that I liked it. And I'm excited because this is a book where this girl who is just kind of like this kind of, her name is Evie Thomas, and she has been like heartbroken. She feels like, okay, love is not something I want to be involved with anymore. Love does not work out. um Nothing really falls through with love, and she decides to kind of give up love. She decided to kind of like count it out. There's other reasons why that happens too, but you can read about that and find out more about that. And she meets this woman. I'll tell you this much: she meets this woman, she decides to go on a walk, and she meets this woman and an older woman, and she's trying to give away all of her like romance books. Like, there's no point in having romance books because love doesn't matter. And she's a really big romance book reader, so it's a big deal for her to give her books up. And she's going to give these books up, and she runs into this older woman who basically kind of like casts a spell on her. And the spell allows Evie, every time she sees a couple kiss, she can see kind of like their whole future of their relationship, like their whole relationship. Um, so she can see like how they met, she can see how they spend time together, the kind of highlights of their life. And sometimes she can see when the relationship ends, either because of like, the natural ending of a relationship or because something tragic happens. And it becomes kind of overwhelming for her. And in the middle of this, she decides to take dance classes. She goes up and takes like a ballroom dance class because one of the books that she finds is called Instructions for Dancing. It has a bunch of different like little footsteps in there in different diagrams on how to dance. She's like, I want to go and like I need to return this book. So she takes the book back to the dance studio that she sees a label in, and she's introduced to like this guy. His name is X, and she decides to take a class. They get partnered together, and it's like a whole like that's where the fun begins. Like the fact that they become partnered together, and the goal is for them to like win a competition, a dance competition. And remember, her goal is not to fall in love and not to like want to be close to anyone. And they become friends, and um, the relationship starts to evolve a little bit. But one of the things that she's kind of plagued by is ideas that she can see people's relationships. Anytime someone kisses, she then is kind of like pulled into like their whole relationship, and she's determined not to see certain relationships kind of play out. She's not really sure what that looks like. This book takes some pretty interesting turns in it. It's really worth reading and investing in. It's not predictable like at all. Um, and there's some moments I think it might cause you to pause a little bit and kind of feel some things. Like it definitely is a feeling book. Like I said, Nicola Yoon likes to kind of delve into the emotion, and she definitely does that in this book. I think you should read it. I think that you should read Instructions for Dancing. I think you should think about kind of what you're willing to do for love. Like, what does love look like for you? How does it exist for you? I think you should think about, like, what would you do if you could see the beginning of a relationship and the end? Would you still want to be involved with it? Or would you choose not to enter it at all? There's some really good questions to think about with this book. Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. You won't regret reading it. This is a good one. Thanks for joining in. See you later.